Hello everyone, I'm Lakisha Spletzer, and I'd like to thank you for being a reader of the Werelove series. It's been a very interesting journey for me and my Werelove series. It started back in 2008 when I came up with the concept to do a shapeshifter story. I didn't want to be like everyone else having the shapeshifter versus vampire storyline. I wanted to focus on just shapeshifters and not just werewolves, but weird creatures of all types. I mean, if you can have a werewolf, why can't you have a weird cat or a weird horse or a weird bird? So, with that in mind, I set out to write Dusk Conspiracy, the first book in the Werelove series. Now, Werelove originally wasn't going to be a series because back in 2008, I had a phobia, more like a massive, massive phobia about writing a series. I didn't want it. It scared me, and the prospect of disappointing readers by not having the consistency to follow through book after book after book was a little bit daunting to me. I'm not going to lie. But after I wrote Dusk Conspiracy, which, by the way, is a product of NaNoWriMo, the editor of the book at the time, Lynn Ely, after we got finished, turned to me and said, "Now that you've done with your last chapter, when are you writing book number 2?" I was thoroughly aghast. I mean, really? A second book? You're crazy, right? You're kidding. You're joking. Not me. She gave me that no-nonsense look that I've come to call the editor look and said, "Go home, give yourself a few days, read your book from front to back, not as a writer, but as a reader." It was probably some of the best advice I've ever gotten. After I went back and read my book as a reader, and not as an editor and not as the writer, I saw what she was saying. There were things that were left unsaid. There were things left open-ended. There were things that were dangling that needed to be finished. She also had instructed me to write down everything I found that needed to be completed. By the time I was done, I'd outlined 4 more books, and thus the Werelove series was born. Now, why am I giving you a backstory today of all days? Well, because I wanted you to know how much of a journey this book has been for me. And not just this book, but pretty much all my writing to date. It's been a journey within itself. But Werelove is special because from the start, I don't know, I always had a feeling about it. There was just something about it that made it probably the closest to my heart. Well, in 2011, August 11, 2011 to be exact, I received an email from a literary agent in Turkey saying that they had heard about me and that he had a client that was interested in Werelove Dusk Conspiracy and my fantasy novel Moonbeams. Now, I am so not going to lie, I thought it was a joke. No kidding, I really did. I thought I was being punked, spammed, played. Insert adjective. So I did Google research. 2 days. For 2 days, I scoured the internet looking for any and all references of this literary agent, his company. And what I was finding surprised me. In a good way. Everything that was said about this particular agent was complimentary. Everyone had had good relations with him when it came to books. So, that told me he was legit. But it still begged the question, why me? I mean, I'm just an indie author amongst a sea of indie authors. So, skepticism still in place. I emailed him back, asked a bunch of questions, to which he calmly and gamely replied back, told me who the client was that was interested in me, and left me pondering once again, why me? But I was too curious for my own good. I mean, after all, I do have feline traits. So, I did what they asked and sent them copies of Dusk Conspiracy and Moonbeams. I'm not going to lie. I forgot about the email. I forgot about sending the books to the literary agent and the publishing house. And I went about my business like I did every day, writing, marketing, and doing the things that indie authors do to promote themselves. But the one person who never forgot, who stayed on my case the whole time about checking in, was one of my staunchest supporters and readers of the Werelove series, Wanda Morales from Good Choice Reading. Now, I met Wanda back in 2010 when I submitted Werelove Death Conspiracy to Good Choice Reading's blog for review. Wanda had never read or had very limited exposure to paranormal novels. And her few forays into the genre had left her feeling, not particularly in the mood for such a writing. But when she was asked to review my book, practically begged to do my book, she said, sure, why not? I'll take a chance. And she loved it. In fact, she loved it so much that she contacted me and asked me if it would be okay if she got my phone number and could talk to me. Being the person I am, I said, sure, why not? And our lifelong friendship has been great. I've enjoyed working with Wanda. I love her insights. She's so much into the storyline that it is awesome experience. And Wanda, I know you're watching. You know what, chica? You are mi amiga, and I appreciate everything you've done for me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Because without you pushing me and prodding me, I think I probably would have stalled out a little bit on the Werelove series. But your enthusiasm and motivation keeps me going. And for the rest of my readers who have written me emails, who reply on Facebook, who keep pushing me to keep Layla's story going, I thank you as well. Because without you guys, it would be a very lonely existence. So thank you so very much for that. But getting back to the story, Wanda kept on telling me, Keisha, contact him. Keisha. Find out what's going on. Keisha. And I was like, I will. Okay, Wanda, I will. And I didn't. So 6 months later, which now puts us into 2012, and I finally do as Wanda's urging me, and I contact a literary agent. Imagine my shock and surprise when he tells me that the publishing house is interested in not only Werelove Death Conspiracy, but its sequel, Werelove Midnight Revelations. I was astonished, astounded, and freaking out. It didn't really bother me too much that they chose not to do Moonbeams. I mean, it is a fantasy, and fantasy can be sometimes a little hard to sell. But to have them go, yes, we're interested in your Werelove books, was like, oh my gosh. And it came at a particularly interesting time for me because my debut novel, Jules, had started becoming a Kindle bestseller in September of 2011 and was continuing its streak into 2012. So if any book was going to get noticed, I thought, my God, it'll probably be Jules. So it was very shocking to me to have Werelove be taken notice of in such a fashion. So I was like, okay, oh my gosh. And they offered me terms, and I said, okay. And I finally, after some negotiating, am pleased to announce that I got my contract in the mail today. Yes, I'm marking this day on my calendar. June 8th, 2012. Indie author Lakisha Spletzer gets her first contract. And guess what? It wasn't because I was querying people. And do I know how they found me? Not really. Am I curious? Lord, yes. But at the end of the day, this right here has made me one of the happiest people ever. So to Artemis Publishing in Turkey, thank you for taking a chance on this indie author. I seriously hope that my book does well and that it is something that, turns out to be good for you guys and good for me. But to all my fans, we're international! Yay! So, all my readers, thank you. And I'm currently on book number 3, working on it. So, wish me luck. Thank you for tuning in for my special announcement. Love you all. Have a good night. Well, it's nighttime now, so who knows what it'll be by the time you watch this. But have a great time. And for those of you that are unpolished or those that are just starting out, may you keep your enthusiasm, may you keep your passion, and may you find your dreams and achieve them.